And welcome back to the Walking Better Part 2 video by Humoma. Hi, my name is Dr. Richard O'Mell, and thanks again for joining me. In this video, I want to carry on from our previous video, and I direct you to that link from the previous video in my previous blog post, the Walking Better Part 1 article. So the focus on this particular lesson is on the walking gait cycle cadence. We talked briefly about the organization, the structural organization of your torso, the relationship of the head, the spine, and pelvis. We talked about the different ways of striking the ground with our feet as we're walking. So we had the typical heel strike, and the other version is the midfoot strike. And I talked to you about some of the pros and cons to either one of those. And in this lesson, I want to add and build on those two elements and talk more about the cross pattern related to the gait cycle or walking cycle. And that cross pattern is basically as you're moving through space, your opposite arm and leg are going to be forward relative to one another. So if I take my left foot and go forward, my right leg will come forward. And vice versa. As I bring my right leg forward, my left arm will be forward. From the side, that will look like this. Left foot forward, right arm forward, vice versa, right foot forward, left arm forward. And the idea with this cross pattern is, think of it's an X through your whole torso, from my left hip up to my right shoulder, from my right hip up to my left shoulder. And that, there's these lines, and basically those lines represent some of the connective tissues, some of your core muscles, your abdominal muscles, your oblique muscles, chest muscles, etc. And the idea with this is, as we're moving through space, that activity between the arm and opposite leg is creating a twisting action. So imagine you take like a towel and you're twisting the top and bottom from in opposite directions. As you're twisting it tighter, that's going to kind of wind things up. And then as you undo that, it's going to undo that or loosen up. So that kind of winding up and letting go, those two phases, that creates like a pumping action. So imagine you're winding up, tightening, untightening, tightening, untightening as you're walking or even running through space. What that does, it serves two purposes. One is it's going to create a pumping action, and that pumping action is going to, one, lubricate your connective tissues, your joints that are involved, and two, act as a neurological stimulus to the brain. Your body is really this, especially the connective tissues and the joints, have these specialized cells. They're like sensors that pick up information about changes in length and tension, relationship of one part to the other, and that tells the brain basically what's going on in the rest of your body relative to the different parts and relative to the environment that you're in. Say, if you're walking on a hard surface versus an unlevel surface such as a ground or dirt path. So that cross pattern is really, really important. And that's why I thought, let's start with something that we all do a lot of, and that's walking. So let's briefly review some of the ideas with this. The walking cycle from the side, as I said, left foot is forward, right arm is forward. That creates this little twist. And the idea with this is I want you to think more in terms of your movement of the arms is coming from the relationship between your shoulder blade and your rib cage. Your arms start between that rib cage and your shoulder blade. And then from there, it gets into the shoulder joint and then out through the rest of the arm. So to look at this from behind, think of a push-up. And when I'm in a down position of a push-up, you can see my shoulder blades are squeezed together. They're pinching towards one another or pinching the spine. When I push away, so in the up position of a push-up, my shoulder blades are pulling away from the spine. So imagine when you're walking, if I bring my left arm forward and my back arm backwards, so as my left arm's forward, my right leg is forward, and vice versa with my opposite arm. My right arm is back and my right leg or left leg is back. So you can see there's that, and as I transfer over the other way, it just is doing the opposite activity on the opposite extremities. But that back and forth activity is creating a pumping action. So it's going to lubricate, it's going to let the brain know where things are in space, and that's going to help you notice things better, meaning you're going to be more aware of some of these cues your body gives you, and notice when maybe you're holding one shoulder a little tighter than the other, maybe your arm swing on one arm is more active versus the other, and you'll start to notice that, and then you can make the necessary changes as you're walking and moving along. The same can be said when you're sitting or while doing any activity. But the idea here is anything we talk about relative to walking, you could apply it to any other physical activity. Another element to another exercise, if you will, to help you sense what's going on between the structural organization of your core and the head, spine, and pelvis, along with your extremities, your arms and your legs. It's sort of a spin-off on the exercise I showed you in the part one of this series. And so imagine if, when we talked about bending the knees and kind of tilting down, letting the head down, chest down, bend the knees, and then you would kind of come up in one motion. Well, what you can do is, in simulating with the walking activity, is just work on slowly just turn your head towards your left shoulder. As you do that, allow your chest to collapse down and bend the hip, knee, and the foot ankle, so your legs so. So I'm kind of looking at my shoulder, or you can even say the left armpit. And then you put all your weight on that left leg. Pause there for a moment, and then as you're going to come up, you're going to feel the floor underneath your foot. That force is going to come up through your body and allow the knee, the hip, and the chest, and the neck, and the head to come up. You're still on that one leg all the way up, and then pause, center your weight between both feet, look straight ahead, pause for a moment, and then go to the other side. And you're going to allow your head to go down towards your chest, towards the right armpit. And I'm going to put all my weight on the right leg here. And you can see there's a little twist going on through my torso. And again, I'm going to push weights down. I'm feeling the force come up through the floor, and I'm coming up. As I feel that start to lift my body up, allow the chest, the neck, the head to come all the way up there. I'm still on this one leg. Once your head's centered, shift your weight so it's balanced between the two legs. Look straight ahead for a moment, and then go back down. So then you can go down, come to the left, come up, suspend for a moment, go back down, come back up, suspend for a moment, and go back down. Then you can just kind of have fun with it. Up, and then down. Up, and then down. Up, and then pause. Do it about once or twice each way. Pause. And really, the key with this is don't do it for the sake of doing it. I want you to experience the connection to the ground, that little twist, and how when you're down, it's like the spring's coiled, and as you come up, that spring's uncoiling, and it's really allowing your body literally kind of is like an uncoiled spring coming up. You'll feel that release. You'll feel that decompression through your whole body, and then go back down, sink back in, compress, push into the ground, and up you go again. And just play with that, go back and forth. And the idea, like I said, is notice, experience, pay attention to what your body's experiencing, pay attention to some of these subtleties that maybe you weren't aware of. Pay attention to how the body gets kind of loaded, compressed, and then it releases and decompresses, kind of springing you upward. And as you become more aware of that in this practice, you'll start to notice that while you're walking, while you're standing, doing the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, whether it's standing and or sitting. These principles apply either way. So what I'd like you to do is practice these things, set some time aside at home, make a deliberate practice of it, anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, longer if you'd like. The key here is to be consistent and accountable. So really decide what amount of time you want to put to this and consistently do this for several weeks. I find if you can do anything from that 21 to 30 days in succession, whatever you decide to do, 'cause like I said, 5 up to 15, a little longer, you're going to start to notice these things more often in your day-to-day activity. It's going to trickle and carry over into that. So once again, I thank you for participating in these, both the videos and reading the articles. If you have any insights, any concerns, have any questions that you'd like to run by me, feel free to reach out to me via the website and my email that's on the website. Until next time, I look forward to sharing more with you.